You're only departing temporarily, and regardless, you should still be within the sea of Honkai. I don't need to make a fuss over this. This really is a strict logical analysis. Or she has already learned self-deception from human beings, she thought deep down. You have changed so much, number 17, in ways I didn't notice. Oh, and would you like to make other plans? The next time we meet, I could give you a name. Prometheus sounds more like a surname, and now it seems that number 17 no longer suits you. I don't really trust your taste, but you can give your suggestions when we meet again. You can count on me then. After all, I have plenty of time to think. That's that then. But just as she was about to turn around, Miss Dell, I know what you are afraid of. If you need an answer, I will give you one now. No, don't say it out loud. It's too childish. Just let me try it out myself. Though there's much more to say, we must hurry. It's a little inappropriate, but I don't know if you think of me. I haven't had this kind of experience before. Have you ever felt the grooves on a record? Through these grooves of varying depth, sound waves were translated into vibrations and thus reproduced. Therefore, record crafters could see the waveforms of music in the grooves without dipping the needle, and by just feeling these grooves, they could make the music play in their head. For the two girls, the needle hadn't dropped, and they were blind to the music that would play. That's true, but are we really unable to help? Our powers are supposed to be more special in this world. After Prometheus confirmed the nature of Sa through codes related to the cocoon, the others had left, each approaching the truth in their own way. Yet it was at this time that the two girls holding the sage's authority found themselves without a direction. They had noticed that, regardless of how small their actions were, they were still on the record, and slowly cutting their own grooves into it. Isn't this normal? That's sage. If she could do anything about Sal's influence, we didn't go through all this trouble. What will be needed when better foes are spotted? It's not like we can count on a certain Herrscher. I can't think of any notable enemy that she's beaten. You can say that, but if we don't do anything... Seriously, that isn't our responsibility. Why must you get yourself involved? But if it makes you feel better, if I'm not mistaken, everyone's trying to investigate something right now. Is there anyone better than us in this regard? I think not. Are you saying, follow me, we found this ability for free, so why not put it to use? Show yourself. Alright, let these guys help replace us. How come? Why would they attack the sage? She's such unreliable paths. Follow up. I'll get to the bottom of this.
跟上去看看就知道了。世界很危险，希尔会小心的。就是那边了吧
It's there.
薛定谔博士
Dr. Schrödinger,
你还
can
能
you
听到
still
我的
hear
声
my
音吗？
voice?
我
I'm
已经到
already
这里
here.
了。没问题。
No problem. Shigurikira is thinking the closure of the spatial gap in this area. It shouldn't
这
take
个过程
long.
不会花
Get
太多时
ready.
间。做好准备吧。准备吗？
Get ready.
的确很短暂啊。
It really didn't take long.
接下来
Now,
就是我自己
this
的任务了。
mission belongs to me.
不过，虽
Although
然这
there's
么
nothing
说，
much to do now.
现在倒也没什么事情可做呢。那是
That is... I see. Everything is turning into energy, indeed. At this rate, I may not hold on until the fusion is
我可未必能
completed.
坚持到融合彻底完成的那一刻。
Honestly, I'm happy with my present form.
实话说，
If possible,
我对
I
自
don't
己
want
现
to
在的
make
形
it look
象
too
还
solemn.
是挺满意的。如果可能，还是不想搞得太严肃啊。不过，
But it wouldn't be a bad thing to get serious once, right?
比起和某个
Rather
意志为
than
敌，
being an enemy of a certain will,
还是让我和湮灭本身
let me
来较量一下
compete
吧。
with Oblivion itself. On the other side, once the key of the Beyond had fully realized its effectiveness, it's over.
结束了。
To those staying on this side, the border of the world that were previously partitioned had not completely erased Miss Dell's body. But they had certainly entered a light-coned and time-delayed relationship. As for their target... Prior to the execution of this plan, the crisis in the South Snow Holy City and the country of Iron Sand had been impacting people in a speculative manner. The unusual weather, the insuppressible riots. When destiny shifted, it was only natural for individuals to feel a sense of unease. Until now, artificial forces came into play and accelerated the progress of a specific area. It finally manifested in a form visible to the naked eye. Oh, that was a little faster than expected. Does this mean this is a type of preview? After this, the spot that we're in will also. It's slow enough for an annihilation by the standards of a bubble universe. Is it still possible to communicate with Miss Dell? Yes. Do you need to contact her directly? No, I just want to check if she can leave messages. Prometheus, though I don't really understand you and Miss Dell, if she is going to be gone for a long time, you'd best say a few words to her. Is that really necessary? Well, I can't answer you for sure, even if you ask me. But when I was still a Valkyrie, I knew a special senior. Even though she was just B-rank Valkyrie, her resilience was extraordinary. Even when facing death, she never wavered. She was as reliable as my hero, Cecilia. But that day, unlike her usual tough self, she was alone and crying in the corner of the training room, so uncontrollably that she struggled to breathe. What are you trying to say? I know a man. He's better than anyone when it comes to inner strength. But he also shedded tears in battle. That's right. After all, there are some things that one just cannot bear. But what really surprised me was when I asked her what happened. She told me that she was thinking of a teammate who died in the line of duty. However, she wasn't crying for her, but for something else. Because her teammate did not die instantly, despite suffering a fatal wound. In her teammate's final moments, to give the other survivors a chance to escape, Act7-pt tried to chase the nearby Honkai beast away. A wise choice. She thought so too, but years later, alone in the training room, she happened to think of it and was overcome with regret. For hours, I just watched her dying. I should have stopped everything, rushed to her and embraced her, so that in her final moments, she would know that it was me taking her to where she wanted to go. The AI was not able to give a response immediately, but at that moment, she had an irrepressible flashback to a certain doctor's final moments and the single blessing she gave before leaving. Well, if you can continue thinking, remember this. This weakness you believe will bring about humanity's fall is what I believe will save it. That's the only blessing I can leave you. With the final blessing, the woman worshipped by countless followers as God perished as the fusion intensified. Of course, the same sign showed on Prometheus too. Beneath the mechanical shell, an impulse came up. She looked around, trying to find the code figure and tell him what she just got to know. Tell that man, the one you betrayed the world for, can do the same for you. She split open the shell of her absolute rationality and expressed an unusual warmth. It was the first time the AI had shown something akin to an emotional impulse. And upon hearing such a story, Dr. Schrödinger, could you help me establish communication with Miss L? I knew it.
果然，
I need to tell her a few words of caution. Apologies. I understand the situation you described, but I came to a different conclusion. When she regretted the action she did not take, was it to fulfill the regrets of the deceased or her own? Do not be mistaken, neither is superior or inferior from my understanding, but I can confirm that Miss Dell is not the deceased of the past. But even if we don't consider the future, don't you think she would feel some degree of pain? Of course, but granting her sufficient space, allowing her to bear the suffering she chose alone. This is the highest form of respect I can offer her, as her friend at this time. Meanwhile, even though the outside world could still sense her presence and even converse with her, in essence, the entity named Miss Dell had already stepped into a hell forged by the masses. Of course, as the sole person immersed in this, she ironically didn't think of it that way. As her memories were shaped by disastrous events, she always maintained the belief that hell is not a place you will go, but a piece of luggage you should carry with you. So, I have always felt that the moment of death is a rather private time. Must you disturb me at a time like this, my friend? At first, her word made no sense. In the slowly fusing plane, a space on the verge of obliteration, only she stood within it. However, unlike a particular drifter, the origin of the grand plan, an idea with a talent for capturing dreams. In a certain way, she was not inferior to the Herrscher of sentience on a psychological level. In fact, she might even be more remarkable. And thus, when enveloped by a force of neutrality, she could not be completely unaware. Aren't you going to respond? True, in this current state, simply manifesting one's existence can already be regarded as a kind of. Without warning, a voice sounded in her mind and deftly severed her words. The voice appeared so suddenly that before she could delve into its meaning, she was surprised by something else. This was an unprecedented experience for her. Of all the beings she had faced, there was one whose power was superior to hers and could even easily destroy her. She never thought that her own mind could unconsciously fall completely under the control of another entity. The entity had a way to deal with ideas, or its power was truly immeasurable like an abyss. She had trouble judging at this moment. Seems like I celebrated too early. Ultimately, what I have to fight against is still a form of will. This sort of things really tires me out. However, given your demonstrated
以你展现出的
abilities,
能力来说，
I'm
我恐怕
unfortunately
不适
not
合表
well
现出
suited
这
for
种上位
expressing the
者特有的温
distinctive
柔，
warmth of
对吧？
those superior, right?
而且，
And since you chose
既
to
然你
appear
选择
right
在这
now,
时现
it
身，
seems like my
看来我的
hypothesis was
猜测都是没
accurate.
错了。
Although remarkably short, she promptly received an affirmative response.
难
No
怪你刚才
wonder
说
you said that the purpose
自
of
己
your
此行的
trip
目
was
的
to ensure
是要确保
my
妻子将来
destruction
反
in
应。
your hands. The
这种
energy
核产
derived
生的
from the
能量
fusion does
的确
have a
有一个属于它的
predetermined
归处，
destination. As per
而
your
在你的判断
assessment,
中，
I
我
do
也
have
的
the
确拥有溯
capability
游
to
从良
trace
的
its
能力。
origins. Great,
很好，
this is enough.
对我来
Given
说，
my own
这就已经足
selfishness,
够了。
I actually feel very
甚至
fortunate you appeared.
如果以
It will
自己的
make
私心进行
everything
考
I
虑，
am doing
我
all the
反
more
倒很庆幸
challenging.
你能出现在这里，让我所做的事变得更加困难。
Otherwise,
否则，
it would
只
have
是在
been
这里等
difficult to
死的
regard
行
my
为，
act
实
of
在很
waiting
难
for
称得
that
上是什么
as a
壮举了。
heroic accomplishment. It's hard to
感到很
understand.
难理解吗？
I'd hate to admit this,
虽然
but
我是很不愿意承认啦，
maybe
但或
it's
许是
just my
天性使
nature.
然。
Number
17号
17's
对我的评
assessment
价
of
其实
me is
完
very
全正确。
accurate.
无论
No
我怎
matter
样
how
尝
hard
试
I
说
try to
服自
convince
己，
myself, I just
我都
can't
无法
seem
发
to
自内心
sincerely
地
care
关
about
心他
others'
人的意。
destinies.
即使知
Even
晓
though
这
I
里
know
将会
soon
在不久
this
之
will
后
all
彻底消亡，
disappear once and for all,
我也无
I
法
still
放
can't
下
take it
过去那种游
seriously.
戏般的态度，太过轻
Be
佻也
it
好，
frivolity
缺
or
乏
a
同理
lack of
心也罢，
empathy, maybe this
这
counts
或
as
许
a
算是我
defect
作为
of an
旅行的某种
idea.
缺陷。所以，
So you know why I
你知道
refused
在出
number
发之
17's
前，
answer
我
before
为什么
leaving,
要拒绝
right?
17号的回答了吧？他
I
给
had
出的那
already
个答案，
anticipated the answer she
我心中
gave.
早有定数。
Now I feel a sense of doubt
直到此
again.
时此刻，才重新感到了动摇。
So, compared to that answer, what are you truly afraid of?
这很
It's
容易就
easy
能
to
猜到
guess,
吧？
right? That's why I
所以
said
我
it's
才说，
fortunate that you
你
appeared.
的出现或许是件好事呢。或
Maybe
许有
there's
些
a
自夸
hint
的
of
嫌疑啦。
evil to it.
但在
However,
大多
in the
情况
majority
下，
of cases,
我都
I
太过
tend
强
to
大了一
be
点，
excessively intense.
很难让自己
It's
处于
difficult
某
to
种
let
没有选
myself
择的
fall
局
into a
面。
situation where I have no options.
也就无
It's also
法
impossible
通过这
to
种方式
examine
解释自
myself
己的
in
内
this
心。
way.
谢
Thanks
谢
to
你
your
及时出
appearance,
现，
I finally have
能
a
让我体
chance to
会到作为
experience the
弱者的感受。
sensation of weakness.
而
And
且
if you are unable to kill me
在这
before
片
this
区
area
域彻底
fuses
融合之
completely,
前，
I
如
will
果你
still
无
be
法
the
将我
winner.
杀死，那么我仍然会是赢家。
Setting aside the question of whether you can succeed, even if you can, what will it mean to you?
或
Maybe
许是
it's a
能
way
够
to
借此体会
experience
人类的感受
humanity.
吧。生来
Human
便注
beings
定
are
死，
destined to die from
但
birth,
在选择如何
but as
衰
they
老、
choose
如何
how
死
to
去的
age
时
and how
候，
to die, they can
他
also
们往往也
decide
决
how
定
they will
了
live.
自己如何活过。而
Besides,
且，
I do not doubt
我
my
可不认为
ability
自
to
己无
win.
法胜利哦。
Well,
虽
it's
说
far
远远
from the
不如
time
圣
when
痕计
Project
划宣
Sigma
告完成
declared
的
its
那时，
completion.
但
A purple, streaming light began to surround her.
这位朋友，
This friend, a
所谓的
so-called
旅行，
idea,
即
even
使
though
是其中
one
最
of
为
the
弱小的
weakest
存在，
beings,
也
has the
同样
natural
居然拥有
potential
抵
to
达无
reach
限的潜能。
infinity. Not to
更何
mention,
况，此时此
now, for the
刻，
first time,
我还是
I
第一
feel
次
some
对眼前的
interest
战斗
in the
感到
battle
这种方
ahead.
面的兴趣。
I don't
我
know
不知
how
道你有
strong you
多么强
are
大，
or
又
what
怀抱着
malicious
怎样的
intent
恶
you
意，
possess, but
但
please
现
now
在
let me borrow
就
you
请让我
for a
借你着
while.
用吧。在今
And
天过
from
后，
the day forth,
我也
I
终于
can
能够知
finally
晓，
know